Welcome to Hood Champion Boxing and Sports. In boxing, you find a way to win or you find a way to lose. Let me tell y'all something right now. Canelo Alvarez and Eddie Hearn and that whole Love Island relationship they've had, let me tell you, somebody about to get their heart broken because Eddie Hearn and Canelo Alvarez may be going different directions. And there is a chance that Canelo could be breaking up with Eddie Hearn and have Eddie Hearn there crying. And Canelo could be going back over there to PBC. You know Canelo's a free agent. You know he does what he wants. And you know when he signed with Eddie Hearn gave him an extremely sweet deal. Gave him all the freedom in the world. And they paid him a lot of money. But this is the thing right here. Eddie Hearn isn't sure, and this is why you got to pay attention. Eddie Hearn's smart, man. He's looking at how much money that Canelo wants for his fights. Now, there was a contract in place for a certain amount of fights, and Canelo would get a certain amount of dollars, right? Guaranteed money. But remember, they were counting on Canelo doing very, very handsome pay-per-view numbers. Well, Eddie Hearn is now talking about there's a chance because Canelo has such lofty goals that Matchroom and DAZN may not be able to meet his demands and those lofty goals. Now, when he said that, I caught it. And I said, okay, he's planning something here. Now, what I think is going to happen is it could go a couple ways, right? The first way that I'm thinking it could go is if Canelo didn't do good numbers against Ryder, pay-per-view wise, DAZN subscriptions, etc., right? If he didn't do good numbers, because remember, his pay-per-view numbers have been on the decline the last couple fights, okay? If he's not doing good numbers, they're going to sit there and say, okay, you know what? For his next fight, we can't sit here and expect to see a surge in pay-per-view buys for Canelo because Canelo wants to fight BIVOL. That's not going to work out, okay? They're going to say, hey, he's a free agent and let him move on because I think deep down, Eddie Hearn doesn't really want Canelo to fight BIVOL. He wants Canelo to fight someone where they can make a lot of money. The WBC is pushing for Canelo to fight BIVOL at 175. I personally feel they want BIVOL and Canelo to fight so they could rob BIVOL so that BIVOL will end up losing on the scorecards. Now, I'm going to sit here and say I don't have any proof of this. This is just me and my brain sitting here looking at what else could it be. Because Canelo is a history of him when it comes to fights going to a decision, whether he was winning or losing. Some judge always finds a way to give Canelo the win. You know what I mean? On a scorecard, which to me is crazy, especially when he got outboxed. All right, but nonetheless, that's what I think deep down the move is. I'm not gonna say to rob BIVOL, but let's hope Canelo can make it competitive, so that he can get the nod on the scorecards and make Canelo and BIVOL. But for Eddie Hearn, he doesn't want, I don't think deep down Eddie wants that. So I think Eddie Hearn sees this, that if Canelo's next fight isn't against a Morrell or Benavidez and Canelo's a huge fight. Huge fight. Let me tell you something. If Canelo was calling out Benavidez, Eddie Hearn wouldn't be talking about him and Canelo parting ways. Not at all. But the problem is this. Eddie Hearn and DAZN, they can't roll the dice on continuing to pay him huge money when he's not bringing in the numbers that he was doing before. So now you got PBC, Leonard, Ellerbe, those guys sitting over there, and Canelo could be going back over there. Remember, he went over there and fought on PBC, was mingling with Al Haymon, mingling with Ellerbe, mingling with Mayweather, mingling with Espinosa to fight Caleb Plant for that unification. He went over there and did what he had to do. And it is looking like Canelo could be going that way if Eddie Hearn can't deliver BIVOL. And the fact that Eddie Hearn said, if we can't deliver BIVOL, that tells me that he doesn't have any desire. Since when has Eddie Hearn talked like he can't potentially deliver a fight. He's always more than confident that he can make a fight happen, right? All of a sudden now, he's like, nah, there's a chance we can't deliver it. And then Canelo's a free agent, and he's free to do what he wants. Let me tell you, Eddie Hearn's looking for an out. But that being said, let's pay attention to see what's going on with this whole relationship with Eddie Hearn, Canelo, PBC, and Canelo signing for a 2-fight deal, a 1-fight deal to fight Benavidez and Morrell, or fight Jamal Charlo, or fight Andre, to fight over there under Showtime. That's all I'm saying. I would not be surprised if that's what happens. And I'm telling you, if it happens, Eddie Hearn's going to be miserable, because there's no way in the world Al Haymon, PBC, I mean, they may, but there's no way in the world they're going to allow a fight like that between Benavidez and Canelo and let Eddie Hearn run the show. Like, that's not going to happen. That being said, man, y'all keep cool. Let's see what happens. But I really think everything's hinging. They could say, because BIVOL wants to fight at 168. He doesn't want to fight at 175. He's like, if I'm going to rematch you, I already beat you down. Let's fight for everything at 168. But there's so much going on with that. I personally think that the WBC and key decision makers, the secret society, they don't want that fight at 168 because there's no guarantee they're going to wait during BIVOL. BIVOL may come down to weight 168, and look even more devastating. And then we may see Canelo get knocked down. His first knockdown. I don't think he'll get knocked out. We may see him get knocked down for the first time. And then BIVOL takes all the straps. And now everyone's miserable. They don't want that. They'd rather have Canelo go fight at 175, make it a bit closer, get the nod, fight for the undisputed against Beterbiev, probably in the desert, okay, over in Saudi Arabia. That's what I think the plan is. But hey, I'm just having a conversation. Nobody told me this. This is just me looking at it and trying to see what direction it could go. But as far as the direction Canelo's going to go, if his pay-per-view numbers were low against Ryder, if the subscriptions, new subscriptions were low, I'm going to tell you something. Eddie Hearn's going to sit there in the zone. They're going to ease away from Canelo and let him try to find a formidable foe for his next fight. And in order for Canelo to do that, he only has a couple options. You know, and if Benavidez and Morrell are busy, to me, you should fight Jamal Charlo. Have Jamal Charlo come up to 168 and fight him. Or fight Demetrius Andre. But really, Jamal Charlo, I think, is a better fight. And plus, Jamal Charlo, like I said in my live this morning, Jamal Charlo, he's already kind of very emotional. He's down in that trough of depression. And I think this is an excellent opportunity for Canelo to kind of catch him while he's down and out. And I think Canelo's people say he's a cherry picker. I think every boxer in this era, if there's an opportunity to cherry pick or get an advantage, they're going to do it. And if that's true about Canelo, he'll definitely see Jamal Charlo in his current state as a cherry that needs to be picked. And he's going to pick him. And I think if they were to fight, especially with everything going on with Jamal, I would have to favor Canelo in that fight. You know what I'm saying? I would. But you just never know what happens on fight night and the type of fighter that shows up. That being said, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans. Eddie Hearn, it's not a good look to be out here crying. And also it's not good just because things start getting tough with your fighter. You want to let him go. But it's a difference between AJ and Canelo. He and AJ are attached to the hip. Him and Canelo is strictly business. And Canelo likes working with Eddie Hearn because Eddie Hearn delivers on everything and they pay him good money. But if they're going to sit there and not want to pay him anymore, Canelo's got to do something. And what does he do? That's the question. We'll find out. As always, y'all keep cool. Shout out to the veterans, all 7 continents. I'm in the breeze.